Next, we'll be hearing from one of the biggest European charge point operators that is operating his network across all of Europe. So we have Alexis Galley, CTO, and Manuel Trotta, Head of Mobility Solution Operations at Allego. A warm round of applause.
Thank you.
So Alexis and Manuel are going to be talking about the new era in EV charging. Convenience meets security. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. I see that there are still a lot of people who are eating, probably, but nevertheless, it's a pleasure to be with you. It's also an honor. Berlin is dear to our heart at Allego, as Germany was the first country after Netherlands where the company was created, where we expanded. And it's today the biggest country in our network. So I'm very pleased to be here to share with you some news, some new feature that we will introduce. At Allego, we have always got the conviction that EV driving, it's about having a seamless, good, in other words, enjoyable experience, and much more enjoyable than having a petrol car. So that's what we want to introduce now. But when you build a house, it's good to start with the foundations. And our focus, I have to admit, has been to build first a reliable and scalable network before bringing this new stuff that will bring convenience to our drivers. So the reason for that, let me take you through where we are. Why scalable? Well, first, because we have now a huge network. We started in Netherlands, as I mentioned, but we are now operating in 16 countries in Europe. We expand in the orange one that you see in the next months and years. We have built also a solid business. We are a profitable company, profitable CPO. We have a very nice and growing utilization rate. So this is part of the foundation I mentioned. And now we want and we are ready to invest further. So invest in the network, building more premium site across Europe, but also invest in the experience we are bringing to our driver. And that's the point where I will hand over to Manuel, who is one of the leaders of this initiative within Allego. Manuel, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Manuel, and I will take you through our next steps, which is being driver-centric. So our industry evolved tremendously in the last few years, and so are our EV driver, because the innovators, the early adopters, which the crowd today is full of, are now basically transitioning into the early majority. As we know, the early majority represent ideally 34% of this addressable market. And the key need is that they want a technology that is reliable, it is easy to use, and more importantly, it integrates seamlessly into their daily life. So, and for them, you know, those days where we were so familiar with these icons, we're not familiar. They will not be encountering this because battery technology evolved a lot. Network growth, like ours and others, is out there. So they will not experience range anxiety in this way. They will experience new type of problems. Well, to prepare the ground for them, we have worked on removing many frictions. For example, if we think about how it started, so with the MSP, at Allego we are compatible with more than, if we look at just the last 30 days, we have sessions started by more than 140 MSPs, which means that our app compatibility is also best in class, and the modules that we can reach is a lot more than that. But not only, because ahead of a year, we have provided ad hoc payment for all of our fast and ultra-fast stations, pioneering this since many, many years before. And not only, because it's not just about your payment experience, but of course it's about the site experience, where Allego invested 360 degrees on how to improve the site design on all angles. The island, the canopies, but also details like cable management with all the manufacturers we cooperate with. And last but not least, we wanted to mention that we focused on convenience since the time when we decided consciously to accept both, for example, swipe and then plug, and the plug and swipe type of authentication. So we see the pattern. Authentication is always something to improve. It's always an opportunity in the industry. So if we think about the early majority, it's going to be a much larger audience that we will face from now on. Their key need is indeed a technology, of course, that is reliable. We said in the morning how important is reliability, but now it's about convenience. So if we want to be serious and customer-centric, we have to work on that. For this reason, we will launch Plug and Charge on OCPP 2.0.1. And with this, drivers can choose to say goodbye to RFID, MSP, or app type of authentications. Because for them, that step, is going to be invisible. We said the key focus is convenience and peace of mind that we want to deliver for the early majority. Let's briefly start about how to communicate about the convenience part. So, well, to deliver this key benefit, let's rely on those three simple features. The first one is certainly the authentication part, because here the payment, the authentication and the payment happens the moment we plug in the vehicle. So it's invisible to them. So, and we know in this we are successful if we are invisible to the driver. We don't create frictions. The second key feature is the fact that borrowing the backend and the architecture of MSP, the billing is automatic, end of the month, detailed, simple to communicate, simple to understand. But last and most important is that Plug and Charge via OCPP 2.0.1 is going to be a cross-network, cross-brand, cross-OEM type of technology. So, no convenience just for the sake of convenience, because otherwise we could have taken shortcuts. We could have launched it years ago with maybe a MAC address-based type of solution. Instead, we decided to launch it in the safest way that is out there in the market. So for this reason, we plan to deliver the key benefit of peace of mind by enhancing security and building on the future-proof type of sentiment that this type of early majorities is so sensible, resonates particularly well with them. So also here, to be delivered via three important features to be communicated. The number one is that this is not an exercise done in splendid isolation, right? So this is something done in concert. We are the first, but we are not just the first alone. We are the first working together with brand leaders in the industry. That's why you see that we are here with Ford and Alpitronic doing this announcement. The second, and arguably the most important, is that, as you know, Plug and Charge utilizes a certificate-based type of authentication with encrypted communication. So this will ensure to our driver that they have the most secure and tamper-proof type of charging sessions. And as you know, cybersecurity is the only biggest threat when compared with the IC vehicles. And last but not least, so this is an industry, open industry standard. So it's going to support the latest upcoming EV and charging technologies so that we can ensure compatibility for the time ahead, for the future to come. At the core, at the center of this, there, as we said, there is OCPP 2.0.1. And Plug and Charge is going to be the first of these premium features that we are going to launch. We have acknowledged what is the need of the market, and we have heavily invested to launch this. That's why you see here standing the two of us. So we are the voice for today of Allego. The brain and the beauty, it's in the teams, the EV Cloud team, the communication team, the whole Allego team, but also the partners that worked hard on this, and together with everyone in the room. So together with this, there are also some key factors to take into account, which is the communication chain. Also there, we have to prepare for the future. That's why in our program of requirement, we always look towards the upgradability of all the hardwares to 5G. And to conclude, as we are on the second last slide, going to the last, we wanted to just share one thought. So while we recognize that some car manufacturers or some charge point operators have taken a different and sometimes a unique decision to launch their exclusive or charging network or their exclusive payment architecture, we stand here because we firmly believe that we can only come together to make sure that while reuniting, we can deliver this unique and seamless charging experience for our drivers. Because at the end, only if we come together, we can also achieve our sustainability goals. So from now on, our demo will be finally, let's say, public. So we invite you to our stage, to our booth in the innovation area. There are some prepared sessions, test sessions for you. But if you are interested to have a tailored one, please feel free to reach out to us, to everybody from Allego here, and we will be able to accommodate your requests. So, thank you. We come to the end for now.
Thank you very much.
So thank you both. Very insightful. We'll start with our Q&A session. So do we have any questions in the audience or via the app? Please also put your questions into the app, and they will be shared with us via these screens. Any questions in the audience yet? Otherwise, I'll start again. So you've sort of announced the rollout of Plug and Charge now. So what's the time, the time course? When is it going to be operational? Is it already? If I was a user.
Yeah, not yet. We are planning to deploy it in the Netherlands and Germany in the course of this year. We should start around October, and then we will expand to the whole European network.
Okay, so start rollout in October until the end of the year. I will check.
Please.
I was wondering, what were sort of the biggest challenges in implementing it, or are still?
I think this is a full chain. The key factor for us was the use of the protocol. So we had to implement a new architecture in our platform. And the second topic is cybersecurity, which is increasingly an important topic. So all the encryption of the communication from end to end was the second step, which has, I would say, represent a big challenge. The last element is that we mention our partners. You have to be 100% ready from the car to the platform of the CPO, including the charger, the communication, and the car. And so it's always difficult. Open standards are here for there, but the implementation can be a bit challenging. So that's why we thank very much our partner Alpitronic and Ford. We have achieved that together.
Please raise your hand if you have a question. Who are your most important partners on the OEM side?
On OEM, we've worked extensively with Ford to achieve that, but we work also with other OEM, obviously, and we welcome anybody, any OEM willing to cooperate with us on that. We have already quite a few who are working with us.
We already heard earlier there was a question about the Chinese market. So do you also collaborate with the Chinese OEMs already on this?
We've touched base with some of them already,
Okay.
as they become an important actor on the European market. Yes.
Going back to the audience, any questions? I would be interested to know sort of what, how do you think will the consumers react to this rollout of plug and charge? And also maybe going back one step, you said you were sort of early on adopting the card terminals. So how does it pan out at your charge points? What patterns do you see? How many people do actually use the credit card terminals? Do you have any data insights on that?
Yeah. So with our Allego crystal ball, we clearly see the future. Yes. And it's a very difficult question. So with regards to any technology adoption, so plug and charge is a new technology. We always see that there is just some question mark at the beginning, but at the end, this progress is inevitable. So that's why the OEM plays a key role to release vehicles, which supports this. And from the driver point of view, from the end user point of view, it's just going to be a benefit for them. The second part of your question of how this will maybe conflict with the ad hoc payment, the card payments, well, they should always be seen as a potential backup in case of any either failure or incompatibility, or like Alexis explained, the key challenge of, especially the last year, we started in 2021, but in the last year, it was mostly to work on the authentication steps. So yeah, we always need indeed a backup.
But are the card terminals accepted very well? Are they used heavily? Because you said it's a backup, but it's an expensive backup, right? If you do that upgrade.
Yeah, it depends a lot via country. There are countries where, although the EV adoption is extremely large, or the presence, of EV is quite large. However, the penetration of ad hoc payment is very small because most of those cars are still for lease car, commercial use. While we see that the pattern is where the penetration of EV cars is a lot higher in the private use, and for example, Nordics, UK, there the use of ad hoc payment can be quite substantial, like 1 out of 5 sessions or even more than that.
So what you're saying is that when the private use is heavier, then people tend to be more price sensitive and rather rely on the credit card?
Not rely, but use it.
But use it.
Use it, yeah. Not is the primary method. It's always a backup method.
Yeah, I see. So it's all about convenience. Nevertheless, customers are price sensitive. With plug and charge, you have to educate me. How do I get price transparency?
Wow, this is a very difficult question.
Oh, that's
but
good.
That's the one we like. So with plug and charge, you have to know what is that your contracts allow, because we do price transparency. We put all the pricing very easily on all our charger, and we also have solutions in place for which, stay tuned, it will be always displayed in more places. But for plug and charge, you need your own basically contract, so you have to know that part.
Okay. So we have a question from the online space. Key is to get other OEM CPOs and charge point manufacturers quickly into the boat. How do you manage that? Otherwise, it will be an isolated solution.
Yeah. I can maybe take that one. So I mentioned about the OEM. We are here showing on our booth with Ford, but Ford is by all means not the only OEM with whom we want to cooperate, with whom we cooperate. So they're all welcome. There are still some which are missing, but we expect to have them. Regarding the CPO, well, I think we are the first one to deploy a plug and charge and OCPP 2.0. And let me insist on something. It means that we will use from now on, once we have deployed, OCPP 2.0 as the main communication protocol with our charger. This brings a lot of feature for the user. Plug and charge is just the first one. And this is an open protocol which brings a lot of interesting feature, and I'm pretty sure that the other CPO will take the same route and progressively deploy this protocol as well. The last topic are the charger manufacturer. We mentioned that we have a program of requirements. Each time we want to onboard or accept on our portfolio a new type of charger, OCPP 2.0 compatibility and plug and charge compatibility is part of this program of requirements. So Alpitronics was among the first of our partners, but we expect other charger manufacturers, and some others are already ready to move in that direction. So I don't see any difficulty on that. OEM is probably the most difficult among the three. That's my answer to that. What is the reason you are investing in plug and charge rather than auto charge? I think that's what Manuel said.
Yeah, mentioned.
For us, we are quite keen on open protocol. We like the solution we can get across the industry, and we don't want to have the people in some way feeling a prisoner of a solution linked to one CPO. That's the first reason. The main reason is security. Cyber security, encryption. We, from our own analysis, auto charge was not satisfactory enough considering the threat that this industry is under in the future. So we consider that in terms of cyber security, there was a big need to step up our game. And for us, the environment around OCPP 2.0 is the best solution today.
Thank you. Nothing to add? No.
I would.
What?
Thank you very much.
Just one thing to add, because indeed, for those customers, we said convenience and peace of mind. So here we see a head-to-head comparison. So auto charge, we can say it was very convenient. Peace of mind, security, he touched upon. So this is a bit that can be surpassed and can be offered by cross vendor, not just in one network. So plug and charge can be offered with the same one subscription. You click once, and you are compatible in all the network, not just Allego. So we made this decision because we put the customer in the center.
What's your sense? How fast will your competitors be in implementing plug and charge? Because
well, it took a while for us, so we are sure they're already investing heavily and developing, so that would be brought to market quite fast. Otherwise, yeah, we need to ask them.
Raise your hand.
Yes, they are.
One question. We talked about collaboration. You said the competitors, they have working heavily on it. Are you also helping them a little bit with your learnings, since you're ahead of the class?
Well, let's go to Alexis.
Maybe.
I think there was one question.
A very small question here in the front. Any more questions from the audience? Do we have a mic?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I would have a lot of questions, but very small questions connecting to yours, actually, because yours was excellent. I didn't know that you have to have a subscription in order to know the price for plug and charge. And what you said is also enlightening for me, that you're opening up that up for other networks. But let's say if I sign a contract with you, I know your price. But let's say tomorrow there's another charge point operator who connected to your network and I drive there. Now I only signed a contract with you. How do I know their price?
So no, let's rephrase the question, because you don't sign a contract with us. You have your own MSP, and your car, with your car, you will use your OEM brand, so the car manufacturer app, and via that you will subscribe to a contract which is inter-network valid. So not with us. We are the first that will support that.
So all
In other words, you have your contract in your car. You have your car which is ready to interact with us. You arrive on our charging station. You never heard of Allego. You plug, and it works.
And I know the price for every charging station. It's basically the same.
Or the price can be found on apps. Can be found obviously on the screen of the charger. So before you want to charge on us, you have various ways to access the price per kilowatt hour, or the difference of the various way of tarification that we have on our network. But no contract with us,
now?
it works.
Yeah, I guess the assumption is that you have a contract with your OEM, who's EMSP, and then you pay the same price across charge points. We have, I think, final question we can take. You say that the charging customer needs a contract. Why can't he pay like an ad hoc payment with plug and charge, individual prices without clearing cost? The car is the credit card.
I think this is the second question of Mr. Müller, and I'm interested to meet him because this is a very good point. That's for me the future of plug and charge. We start with the MSP contract, but the future obviously is that if you are able to have your credit card, your wallet within your car, you should be able to pay as well with a plug and charge on our network with your credit card. So I totally agree with you. That's the future of this technology.
Final question. One from the audience. Do we have a mic here?
It's wonderful. Everybody's waking up now. Huh?
Yeah, it's always like that. Could you possibly get up?
Oh.
Sure, just having digested the food, so I'm waking up. Let me be a bit provocative. The plug and charge underlying architecture is, and I'm being mean now, is pretty crap. I mean, it's hilariously complicated, and it's based on technologies that are a decade old. Now, there's all good reasons why this is the case, but if you designed a system like this from scratch today, you would never choose the kind of technologies that have been implemented right now. So I would argue, actually, it's not very customer friendly because it's hugely unreliable. So are you really putting the customer first when you implement this? Maybe, it's been asked provocatively, but I want to give you a chance to answer that properly.
Thank you very much for the question. Maybe Manuel, do you want to?
No, what I wanted to say is that you put customer first by removing that step and making it invisible towards them. Now, the problems that we all are facing, and that's why we said in the last year, it was all about solving the authentication steps with the OEM and the MSPs to verify that everything was seamless, was the key focus. So yes, we are conscious with that, but our commitment is towards the open standards. So that's why, like a presenter said before, it's a multi-level type of problem. Now, we cannot tackle it on all of the levels. We can contribute certainly to solve it.
And I would add that I consider that as the beginning of the journey. I totally concur with what you say in terms of experience for the customer. It has to be 100% reliable. It has to work always. We are not there yet, but we can start somewhere. And we think that the environment that has been designed around this open standard is the right one. And we have to go in the direction you mentioned. We have to start where we are. That's basically what I would say.
I hope that answered the question. So thanks, Alexis and Manuel.
Thank you very
much.
much.
For a great talk. And please continue the conversation online or in person and find those guys at their stand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.